Yu-Gi-Oh! The 250th YCS changed the game, huh? You need to know about the new decks, huh? It's almost like a drug dealer. I'm always giving you the new supply. Because it's Tier List Tuesday. What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day, phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Today for Tier List Tuesday, we are going to be going over what I think are the top Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks post the 250th YCS. That's right, London, LA, and Bugatti. Vroom, vroom. Regardless if people want to admit it or not, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has changed, and today I'm going to be talking about the best decks that you could be using to be able to win. Of course, big dog, as per usual, we got 5 different categories. Meta changers are the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks. The only difference between this one and the second line is that these decks you must prepare for or build your deck around. Essentially, they changed the meta. Who would have guessed? The best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Can be considered as just as good. The only difference is that they don't define the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta. Next best decks are some really powerful strategies that you guys can get into. They can actually disrupt a lot of the top decks, and the great thing about this is that a lot of these decks have been topping over the course of the last few weeks. Takes a really good pilot, I mean, hint. Pop your collar if you be topping with this. You the man, you know what you doing. Because you're gonna need that to play these. And then last one, only for the connoisseurs, a real challenge. It's like that one guy in your locals that doesn't give up on his 4-year-old deck even though times have changed. Yeah, it's a real challenge for him to get some wins, isn't it? Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on it and start talking about these particular strategies. So the criteria for the meta tier list is simple. How do these strategies fare against some of the top Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards? Alongside of Kaijus and evenly matched, there's Psy-Frame Gear Gamma and Drillin' Lockbird that have entered the fray, and then of course, your power spell cards in Book of Moon and Book of Eclipse. Also, another thing to note, we will be starting off by talking about the meta changers. Everything else will go chronically from there. I said chronic and I don't smoke. Dr. Dre will be proud. He's not a doctor. Hands down, statistically, the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Kashtira, and that's the reason why there are so many cards, or so many different cards being played inside of the game. Kaijus, Kitakura, the Divine Incarnate, Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse, Gamma, all of those cards are being played to be able to beat the Kashtira strategy, and it has defined our Yu-Gi-Oh! Format. And for a whole bunch of broke boys, I gotta say, there are a lot of players playing Kashtira without cash money. How about you use that cash to cash in a girl? I'm just salty. I lost to a Kashtira player. It is what it is. Now, the next top decks will actually surprise you because in our last tier list, we had some other strategies, but I genuinely think that Naturia Runic is one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. Naturia Runic not only has the ability to be able to go toe-to-toe with Kashtira, it can make a monster like Naturia Beast to be able to stop all of Kashtira's spells, and just when you thought you can just summon a Kashtira monster to run over it, well, that's where the Runic cards come on, being able to negate your opponent's monsters and destroy them. It can also protect the Naturia Beast. Yeah, that's the thing. Runic Slumber is a card. My guy, it makes it invincible! Naturia Runic actually has so many things up its sleeve, but being able to draw up to 6 cards in one turn, that's one of the more busted elements that this deck has, and I think going forward, everyone should prepare for this strategy. I mean, I ain't never lost to one of them because I know a bum that plays it consistently. He's an easy W. And the third best deck will 100% surprise you because it's no longer Mummy Milkers. I would actually give it to Sprite, and if I had to pick a particular version of Sprite, I would say Sprite Melfi. My guy, have you played against Sprite Melfi? Granted, it's only 2 Melfi cards, but yo, this deck is crazy. Sprite Melfi feels exactly how Sprite used to be, especially now that it can use Double Cross to be able to attach one of your monsters to its Melfi Exceed monster, but also being able to synchro summon into Herald of Arclight, which is technically totally awesome, but the more important thing is that it actually banishes cards that are discarded from the hand or sent from the deck to the graveyard. That may not sound like much, but it actually comes up huge. From there, let's go ahead and jump on into our tier list Branded was actually once a meta changer deck, but now I wholeheartedly think it's just one of the best decks. I think one of the biggest problems with Branded right now is that players are so ultra focused on not losing to Ash, they found ways to lose to other cards. My guy, you done fumbled the bag real bad. Also, with players realizing that Branded is mostly just an engine deck, it is becoming increasingly easy to side against this deck with cards like Grave of the Super Ancient Organism to completely turn off the deck so you can lose the game. The problem with Branded has always just simply been the same. It's really easy to counter. Dark World, my boys, this is a deck that is insane right now. It can play against some of the top tier decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it can go against some of the best cards in the game. Hand traps like Infinite Impermanence, Psy-Frame Gear Gamma, and Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring don't hurt this deck, but you wanna know what does? A troll. I genuinely think that I am the ultimate evil. I put players on Dark World and then I turn around and put players on Droll and Lockbird.
I just want to see the world suffer.
Overall though, Dark World is an extremely powerful Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck, and one of its best benefits is that it can play under cards like Skill Drain, which can disrupt some of the top decks in the game. Fluunderease, my guy, just got a premier Yu-Gi-Oh! Top without barrier statue of the Stormwinds. Ooh, this one's tough. Where should I put it? My brothers in Christ, I have no idea, because I want to say it's here, but with only one, people still didn't cut it out. God, I'm gonna leave it at next best right now. Like I've said so many times before, Fluunderease actually has all of the tools to be competitive. It is a strategy that has always played cards like Book of Moon, which is really popular, and even has one in Fluunderease Snow. It can also tribute off all of your opponent's cards and has an insane Kashtira matchup. The problem? Naturia Beast. Also, Droll and Lockbird does hurt this deck because you don't play Dimension Shifter anymore. Now, ironically, I said Fur Hire was a really good deck in our last tier list, and lo and behold, at the biggest event, it actually showed up and did a really good thing. I think that this deck is going to take a really good pilot to be able to play, but if you know what you're doing with the furries, you going places. Guys, I don't care if you call me a furry or not. I really don't care what you say. Donner Mommer, she is thick. Fur Hire does feel like a budget version of Runic because this deck is built on drawing 6 cards in one turn through your Runic cards and your Fur Hire cards. I think that it's a really interesting deck and could be pretty powerful with the right hands. Speaking of All-State, when you ever get into an accident and you need a hero, you can always pick up the hero deck if you know exactly what you're doing. My guy, I seen MBT on that live stream. He was, Mans was killing it. He convinced me. Hero can be pretty good. The new card in Wake Up Elemental Hero, you know, the card without Elemental Hero Air Neos for reasons, is actually a fairly good Yu-Gi-Oh card and does help heroes a lot in certain situations. It's actually a good Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's pretty cracked. Labyrinth Mummy Milkers is no longer in the meta changer. Players aren't even respecting back row anymore. You think that we'd play more Cosmic Cyclones and Harpies Feather Dusters? Nah, they don't care. We're just mainboarding evenly matched. You guys are chaotic, man, but with that new information, oh no, I'm gonna make a bold take and put it in next best. Floodgate Labyrinth did not work out, my brothers in Christ, and Labyrinth overall has dropped tremendously in representation over the weekend. I think it's in the danger zone of just being one of those decks that weird guys play because reasons. Hey guys, I dropped off the Mommy Milkers train a long time ago, but I still wear the Mommy Milkers merch, buy the Mommy Milkers cards, and I'm looking for Mommy Milkers stuff. But yeah, let me know if I put Labyrinth a little bit too low, and let me know if I put something too high down below in the comment section. Also, be sure to let me know what did I forget. There have been quite a few tops with the live twin sprite version of the deck, and this isn't an actual representation of its power, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and put it in real challenge, and I have a big reason why. Live Twin Runic Sprite is built on being able to summon live twin monsters to your side of the field to continuously draw cards and also destroy cards, with your Runic cards giving you additional draws and further disruption. My guy, if I wanted to play a deck that gives me a million draws with the potential to deck out my opponent and big monsters, I just play Naturia. And if I wanted to take advantage of the sprite cards being free monsters to the side of the field and giving me a non-targeting removal, why wouldn't I play Melfi? For all intents and purposes of the people that are actually paying attention to the video, this deck is actually one of the best decks in the game, but my opinion, there's almost no reason to play the live twin version over the Melfi version. So there you have it. I'm still going to put it in best decks because, you know, things. Marine says, unfortunately, my boys, it only takes a couple of weeks for this deck to be doing down bad. Evenly matched? Kaijus? Oh my God, what the happened? This is still not a terrible Yu-Gi-Oh deck, but God, you need so much more brain power to play right now. Mathmech is a deck that is pretty much, I mean, it's almost sat there as one of the best decks in the entire game, which makes Mathmech easily one of the strongest Cybers decks. Is that Small World can literally search not only your Mathmech cards, but it can also search cards like Kaijus, Droll and Lockbird, pretty much anything you want. Mathmech is literally a Small World deck when you add it up. Hey my guys, don't be mad at me. No need to get so divisive here. Plunder Patrol. I mean, I don't think Plunder Patrol is bad, but the best version of Plunder Patrol is Plunder Patrol Runic, and ooh, it's gonna dodge the takes a real challenge and get into takes a really good pilot. The best thing about the Plunder Patrol variant over the Notoria variant is that the Plunder Patrol cards are cheaper. Not really. Goddamn. No, not even close. But then you also get to be able to, wow. Yeah. This was hard. I'm sorry guys, Plunder Patrol can make Xingying, but it can't make a Notoria Beast. That card's free right now. But one thing that I do like about Plunder Patrol is the versatility right now, being able to summon some really powerful monsters from your extra deck and have some great spot removal inside of your extra deck, which is great utility for this deck to be able to thrive. Plus, dog, if you're ever looking for booty, I don't ever go for plant insects. I'm gonna go right to the sea. I would 100% say Punk is in the next best. Punk doesn't necessarily do anything extremely well, and of course we're talking about Punk Therion and Punk Combo variants, but it doesn't do anything bad enough to lose. Rika, my guys, only one top? I don't care. I'ma say it's one of the best decks. Well, in actuality, it had 2 tops over the course of the weekend from 2 different events, but allow me to explain why I put Rika so high. Not only in both events, Rika had very low representation, it actually matches up as one of the better decks in the game, strictly because every one of your Rika cards is a Kaiju when you search your field spell. It also messes really well with Triple Tactics Thrust to allow you to search into Engine, and is versatile enough to incorporate all of the plant cards. There might be some unexplored territory with Rika that we can take advantage of. It is one of the better decks in the game. It's been topping consistently over the course of the format. But I don't know, could be another bold take. You tell me what you think. Rocket Dragon Link, my guys, this deck is never down and out. It always takes a really good pilot to play, but this time around it's gonna take a little bit more energy. My brothers, the match is never even. It's never even. Bro, if we were ever in a format where Labyrinth, Dark World, and Mathmech were some of the best decks in the game, I would easily put it like right here and right here because of the Bestial monsters being so powerful. Sky Strikers, my guy. We've seen a good amount of Sky Strikers. I even think a couple of them topped. Yeah. One thing that I've noticed about Sky Striker is that it's just broke Notoria Runic. Seriously, think about it. Engage, Runic Fountain, Freezing Curses, Widow Anchor, Flashing Fire, Afterburner. Holy shit, they both even fire cards. The only reasons why you would probably pick Sky Striker over Notoria Runic is A, you're a maniac, B, you're looking to dox me right now and kill me, or C, you're on a budget, which I think is very fair. But in terms of competitive viability, it's not even budget. You need Triple Tactics Thrust. Holy crap, you guys are just outrageous out here now. We've already discussed Sprite through Melfi and Live Twin. I think Sprite Runic is also a very viable deck. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in Meta Changer because we've already talked about the deck and we already know the Sprite cards are extremely good. There's also Sprite Tri-Brigade that was doing really well. Overall, Sprite is just an amazing deck right now. Sword Soul, my boys, this is the deck. We've been crushing Master Duel, and unfortunately, it ain't Master Duel. One thing that I noticed about playing Sword Soul at the YCS is that if they hand trap you, you kind of just sit there with a Sword Soul monster and you hope you can have follow-up. Also, if they ever crack your board, you don't have any follow-up because you didn't search follow-up. This either makes Sword Soul incredibly weak, but when it pops off, it's incredibly strong. But regardless, I'm not giving up on the souls of the sword. It's a pretty good deck. I would put Tier Limits in the takes a really good pilot category. This deck does require like the biggest of brains, but one of the best things is that players are starting to play a lot less Nibiru. Not that it mattered if you can summon Tier Limit Ru Kalos, but this deck can actually make Ru Kalos and Padron to 4 fairly consistently, which is pretty powerful. You combine that with Time Thief Redoer, and you got a deck that is fairly solid and can still fusion summon by using cards or returning cards to the deck. And lastly, where would I put Trap Tricks? Players are still main boarding evenly matched. Holy, Kaijus are huge. I think that this is a very, very solid Yu-Gi-Oh deck right now. And as long as you don't get with Kaijus and evenly matched, you should be doing decent. Overall though, that is what I have for my meta tier list post the 250th YCS. Let me know down below in the comment section if you agree with my particular choices or if you disagree. I know I got some bold takes in there. Also, be sure to check out these other videos for more amazing content, and I'll catch you on the next one.